Espérate un momento, vale. ¿Dónde queda Isabel?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me
Oh,
well?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay. Yes. Hi. So welcome everyone to the Food, Beverage and Agriculture Pitch Night at Startup Club.
Ahora que le toca a Tiomi.
Uh, 1 second. Okay. So my name is Mathilde Bade and I'm your host tonight. And I'm happy to connect with everyone on LinkedIn. I will share my contact details in the chat, and I invite you to do the same to start the networking. And I will share also the schedule and the link to the pitch decks.
There's no stories coming.
1 second. Okay. Yes, so I was saying that I will be sharing the pitch decks in the chat, and we have tonight 5 startups that we will discover, and you can use the chat and private message function to ask questions to the presenters and to interact with the other attendees. Shortly about the Startup Club, we are the one-stop shop for the global entrepreneur community. Our vision is to assist businesses in their funding rounds and growth by connecting entrepreneurs with investors, advisors, mentors in the startup ecosystem internationally. And we do that through a series of pitch nights and investor networking conferences. Currently, we host pitch events in different industries. I'm hosting the green tech and also fashion, beauty, luxury, and in this one, obviously, the food, beverage, and agriculture pitch night. We also have AI startup competition in 2nd of April and health tech. And one more that will be in the summer will be called lifestyle and hospitality that I will be hosting as well. I will share tickets for free passes in the chat in the second half of the event. Okay, so tonight, as I said, we have 5 companies and very happy to have you here with us tonight. The first one is Bored and Thirsty, presented by Kurt Lose. It's an artsy still and sparkling water, electrolytes and sustainability without the sugar. Second one is PurePresso, presented by John Berkelion. Shelf-stable, on-demand, roastable coffee ecosystem. Then we have Stacked, Chris Wilkins. It's hydration products for fitness, combining electrolytes with performance supplements. Then we have Sheep in Wolves Clothing, Brewery, presented by Matty Dixon. It's beer, reimagined, reinvented, rejuvenated, pushing the limits of craft beer from alcohol-free and beyond. And then we will hear about Enviro Farm, presented by William Tooley, leading the way in land regeneration, climate adaptation, and sustainability. So the format, shortly about the format, it's each presenter has 20 minutes in total to pitch and also to receive the feedback from the advisors. Presenters have about maximum 8 minutes to pitch, and the rest of the time, 12 minutes, will be the feedback. And so there will be an alarm after 8 minutes, a beep. Then it's the recommended time to stop the pitch and to move to the feedback. After 20 minutes, there will be second beep. Then we move to the next presenter. So if you decide to pitch like shorter time or longer time, then you just have to think that the feedback time will be reduced accordingly, as it has to be 20 for each presenter. Yes, so then we have 5 advisors that will give feedback to the presenters. I'm happy to welcome Constanza, Michelle, Dorit, Anthony, and Camille. So now we will do a roundtable and the advisors will introduce themselves to the audience. Let's ask Constanza Robles if she can introduce herself.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. I don't know if it's morning or evening for you guys, but I'm Constanza. I'm the founding partner of Inanna. We are a systemic venture builder and investor in regenerative agri-food systems in Southern Africa. I come at this with sort of 13 plus years experience at the intersection of innovation and impact, working all the way from sort of much more on like farming specific things, but I've also worked on other types of products and goods and different services. Yeah, really excited to hear the ideas and be here today.
Thank you very much, Constanza. And now let's ask Michelle to introduce herself.
Hi, good morning, evening, everyone. I'm Michelle with Naya Ventures. We are based in Canada and we invest in agri-food early stage ventures, investing at everything under the umbrella of food and agriculture, excluding CPG and last mile delivery. I myself come from finance as well as entrepreneurial background, having started my own food tech company in the alternative protein space, as well as things like fintech and manufacturing in the past.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. And now let's ask Dorit.
Hi, everyone. I'm
Hi.
Dr. Dorit Rosner. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of the Kitchen Hub as part of the Strauss Group, an Israeli food and beverage company. In my background, I have a PhD in chemistry, had my startup in the microbiome field, and many years in the dietary supplements area. So nice meeting you all.
Thank you very much, Dorit. And Camille. Camille can introduce himself from Capagro.
Yeah, Camille. Nice to meet you. So I'm a food engineer, and I'm part of Capagro, which is a French VC firm investing in early growth startups in the agtech space, and happy to be here.
Thank you, Camille, for the introduction. Welcome. Okay, Anthony, I'm not sure if Anthony has already arrived. Anthony had some family emergency. He was going to join a little bit later, so he's not here yet. So we'll just we can just go right into the first presenter, which is Bored and Thirsty, presented by Kurt. So Kurt, when you can start sharing your screen and start the presentation.
Bear with me. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Yes, I have started. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hi, my name is Kurt Losey. I'm the co-founder and president of Bored and Thirsty. We make beverages that are beautiful both inside and out. Our mission is to make healthier, sustainable beverages more fun and enjoyable for all. Thank you for making time for this pitch. The leadership team is built for this moment. Darren Rasmussen is our co-founder and CEO. He's an accomplished entrepreneur, and his superpowers are CPG product development, packaging design, and retail operations. I'm the company's co-founder and president. I have 30 years experience in omni-channel marketing, sales, and building marketing tech. We're also extremely fortunate to have some remarkable advisors, one of which is Mark Kenny. He was the former VP of merchandising for little companies like Target, Walmart, and Sam's Club. Mark's helping us launch our products at mass retail. We also have Doug Ryan on our team, who's the former president of Digitas, owned by Publicis. He was also the president of R.R. Donnelley. Doug is helping us build our unique experiential marketing platform and nurturing our future big agency relationships. So the problem. In America, we have a lot of big problems, but there's one problem that our team is uniquely qualified to address, and it's this abomination. It's 2026, and tens of billions of dollars continue to be sold each year as a tidal wave of plastic water. We're fed an endless array of boring and forgettable brands, polluting our planet and our bodies. We can and must do better. There is one fun and sustainable brand that celebrates murder, death, and head chopping, by the way. In just 5 years, they've grown to be $1 billion phenomenon. It just shows you that there's room for innovation, and we think we have built something much, much better. What's the solution? A new beverage platform with 2 revenue enhancers. Our core business is making exceptional, delicious beverages that fuse premium, better for you and better for the planet drinks in inspirational ways. We take as much care in crafting our liquid as we do the ever-changing aesthetics on our packaging. The result is a unique beverage company that enables two additional revenue enhancers. The first is through selective private label partnerships. This helps us improve our capacity utilization and lower our COGS, improving our margin. The second is our ability to engage people in amazing new ways through interactive consumer marketing, or what we call canvertising. It's a future revenue stream for us that we think might eventually surpass our beverage sales. Our differentiators are clear. We have the coolest brand on the market. We make the tastiest premium beverages in the world, and you'll just have to trust me until I can get you cans. And our interactive packaging could become the next breakthrough in consumer advertising. The market we play in is big and ripe for disruption. At $79 billion, the combined US total market for water and soda is massive, and the water category alone is growing at 7.5% CAGR. Our serviceable market within that group for premium beverages across our target retail channels is 12 to 18 billion, and our obtainable market estimates us or puts us on a clear path for 51 million in annual revenue within 3 years. We've got the roadmap, the plan, and our assumptions are fairly conservative. We're at 12,000 doors, selling at just 3.5 cases per week. We should easily be at 51 million in revenue each year. Our core water products, we make some of the best water on the market, hands down. They're remarkably smooth and delicious. They're functional and fun. We have 2 primary water SKUs in market: our alkaline still water with electrolytes, the white stripe can, and our sustainable mineral water, also with electrolytes, in the black stripe can. We've secured national grocery and C-store distribution, and we're onboarding with US Foods to service restaurants, stadiums, and hotel groups. Once we're onboarded with US Foods, we'll have the combined capacity to service over 100,000 doors just in the US alone. Our early traction. As for traction, we've generated meaningful revenue and retail distribution before we've even built out an operational team. With absolutely no marketing, we've produced and sold over 500,000 cans of water, achieved over 550,000 in sales, landed 600 doors at a number of retail chains, and we've even participated in about a dozen large music festivals. We've developed a fully scalable US-built supply chain, and we're working to improve our velocity metrics from 68 units per store to 12 to 24 with a simple pack change. We've also identified a really interesting way for our portfolio to expand in what we're calling alternative sodas. We've locked in and the landscape, identified that the landscape has a sweet spot right in the middle of it. It's anchored by traditional sodas that are generally way too sweet, way too caloric, and not meeting modern tastes. Then there's the diet soda offerings. They use artificial sweeteners and deliver a strange taste that's unfulfilling for most. And then we have a lightly flavored sparkling waters category like the LaCroix and Spindrifts of the world. They're much better for your health, but they don't deliver a lot of taste, making them less popular with younger generations. We've developed 3 unique formulations made in our in-house lab that services this Goldilocks position in this new subcategory that's full flavor, low sugar, low calorie, all natural, and functional with electrolytes. So meet our new flavors: Tahiti Punch, Kona Citrus, and Pacific Pepper. Each offers a unique full flavor experience with almost 1/10 the sugar and calories of regular soda with all natural ingredients. We make them stand out with colorful striped cans that jump off the shelf in fun new ways at retail. So our collabs are what makes our brand really unique. They keep our brand culturally relevant as we work to promote creators in exciting new ways. Here's an example of an upcoming collab we have with the artist Wada. These beautiful and collectible limited edition drops feature amazing artists, musicians, fashion designers, gaming interests, and sports enterprises. The collaborations like this help us land and keep major retail accounts because nothing in the category drives foot traffic and incremental sales for water like this. We also have a revenue enhancer opportunity that services private label partnerships, and we're really selective in who we choose to partner with. But here are a couple of examples. One of the fastest growing coffee chains in the US is a company called Better Buzz. We make custom water for them in both still and sparkling mineral water. And we also design custom programs for regional distributors like this one in Nashville, Tennessee, where we work with them to help keep their main accounts happy and serviced uniquely by these unique beverage products. For us, private label projects help us improve capacity utilization, help us lower COGS by making more with every run, and ultimately helps us improve margins across the board. So one of the unique experiences we have is that we've really turned static cans into experiential packaging that's truly next level. We produce several collectible cans that come alive through your phone without an app through a simple QR code scan. This one, featuring Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, takes our canvertising model to the next level. When you scan the can, you can talk with a Ballmer bobblehead who's enabled by AI, is fed a lot of data about him and the Clippers. He gives you recommendations for where to go to dinner, get custom discounts, or get a discount off merchandise at the pro shop when you're at a game. This application for this technology is nearly endless. So what are we asking for? We're looking for a $5 million equity investment to scale our business. It's not to prove whether our market exists. It's just to scale one that we've already validated. We're offering 25% equity for $5 million. We have a strong plan for how to use the funds efficiently. Within 18 months, we'll get to $5 million in annual recurring revenue and beyond. And we're just looking for the right strategic investors that can help see this vision and help bring it to life. And if you were ever wondering what's in our name, it means we're bored of the status quo and we're thirsty for positive change. And I hope you can see why. And I'm open to your questions.
Thank you so much, Kurt, for the pitch. Where we can now move to the Q&A part. Let's start with Constanza.
I guess less of a question, more of I just want to. One of the things that's quite hard about the market that you're working in is sort of the really tight economics and really thinking about how that works. So what I'm curious about and just, I mean, really impressed by the fact that you guys have thought so thoroughly about different ways to enhance the revenue. And I'm just curious as to how that's working out in terms of the economics, and where do you see most of your profit kind of coming from in the long run as you sort of scale?
Yeah, great question. Obviously we're in a game competing with multi-billion-dollar international conglomerates. Scale is where you eke out margin in the CPG game. But these revenue enhancers are really, really important because we're not just competing on the same level as them. We make additional money in private label beverage that is attributable and credited to our bottom line because it improves our scale right off the bat, and it is less reliant on us to spend marketing dollars to make sure our products are moving off shelf. It's really a great fit for a startup brand to get into this space and solve that scaling gap to where when you're at really scale is where you really start seeing your margins on your core financial metrics.
Thank you, Constanza. Let's ask Michelle for her feedback.
Yeah, great pitch, and I love how colorful your slides are, as well as the multitudes of SKUs. Curious though, because it seems like you have been operating in different vertical. There's like the electrolytes water, there's that potential for collaborations and introducing other flavors as well. How do you view your competitive edge compared to some of the other players in the market in terms of what your winning strategy is? Because yes, at CPG, really branding and marketing is incredibly important. However, I would caution also the danger of being in a cycle where you are very much influenced by the broader macro trend as well. So as a founder, what's your strategy to defend your product against upcoming or existing competitors?
Creativity wins all. And the reason Liquid Death became a billion-dollar brand in less than 5 years is because they're amazingly creative. I'm not a big fan of what they're choosing to promote with their brand and how extreme it is, but they've proven and shocked the beverage world that you can build a lifestyle brand simply around marketing and being more creative. Now we've taken that to the next level. Our beverages are table stakes. They have to be the best in the market, and they are. and you'll only know that by tasting them. We've had feedback from PepsiCo Ventures, who spoke with us several years ago and congratulated us. They said on 1,000 business plans for beverages, you guys have cracked the code. And it's because Darren and I are fundamentally creative people and creative problem solvers. We've managed to fuse and spend as much import on the packaging as the liquid itself, and we're doing it in the most interesting ways to create community. And that community is rooted also in creative interests. That is a defensible position that isn't easily matched through any well-funded startup, because that's really the only place our competition's emerging. I've spoken with the big beverage brands. They're not in the R&D. They've gotten out of the game for the last 30 years because they don't do small well. So they leave all their R&D to innovative startups like us and Liquid Death. And then once we've hit that 5 million annual run rate, which is their benchmark, not ours, then they take a piece at 10% interest and look to scale.
Thank you, Michelle, for the feedback. And now let's ask Dorit for her question.
So 2 questions, but I'll do it short. The first one, you emphasize the sustainability as your core value. Can you give us more details around the unit economics of the sustainable packaging and the supply chain?
Yeah, I mean, our unit economics are at their worst at this scale because we're not able to produce at volume.
Yeah.
And I had the next slide in my deck, if I had time, was talking about all of our unit economics. So we currently make about 26% gross margin based on what we're able to produce a can for versus what the landed cost is and what we're able to sell it for. That can double or potentially triple with scale. So I think the more interesting question we get is, how do we make so many unique designs and do it and still maintain the economies of scale? And again, that's creative problem solving. Both Darren and I figured out the right way. It's basically all pouring liquid into the same type of can, and we just, through careful planning, aggregate different designs in the same production run, and then they're sold different ways. They're packaged and sold in different ways. But the production standpoint is all the same. We just aggregate a lot of different design runs in the same production, and then we separate those packages, and they're either sold or distributed directly to one of our distributors, goes direct to a private label business that handles the product from there, goes to our Amazon deliveries or digital marketplaces, or directly to our warehouse for direct consumer sales. So we've managed the economics really well, even at this most difficult early stage in our business.
Amazing. Thank you. Regarding the formulation itself, is it containing any sweeteners inside?
The flavored products contain one sweetener that's an all-natural fermented cane sugar. And it's really a breakthrough moment in beverages because it's not stevia. It doesn't taste like stevia. And yet it's, I think, 300 times more sweet than sugar. And it only really works with about 5 to 6 grams of real cane sugar. It enhances that and brings us to what I say is like 80, 90% of the sweetness of a soda, but without all the calories and extra sugar needed that makes those things really bad for us.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorit. Camille, would you like to ask your questions?
Yeah. So thank you, Kurt, for presenting your company. You emphasize the fact that you are able to grow while staying lean in terms of HR. And from an investor point of view, sometimes it's a concern that we have is that will you be able to manage a company if you have to hire people? What will be your management skills? What will be your plan? Because you mentioned your growth strategy in terms of partnerships, etc., but not your recruitment plan or your plan or what can you just give a few details about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, the great news is with an investment in our business, you get 2 experienced entrepreneurs at the same time. Darren built a big business where from scratch. Not long after he left high school, he started his own agency and grew that into a $30 million a year business over about 20 years. So we know how to build, scale, and manage, hire, all of the things needed. I also have a background, built businesses and sold them. I've built agencies. I've built unique marketing platforms and scaled similarly. So we know how to manage, hire, and manage folks. The other piece of that is it's a different world from when we built businesses back then. You can use a special forces kind of team of hired experts and leverage virtual workers and agencies to do a lot of the heavy lifting we used to have to hire small teams in-house for. So we have a plan and roadmap, and obviously AI plays a role in some of the day-to-day work to make people more efficient. We have a detailed plan for how to build out that small team. I think our initial plan is to hire a little less than a dozen full-time employees and then hire agencies to do the support work. And by the time we're 50 million plus, we can do that with about 26 employees based on our modeling.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Camille. Yes, so Anthony is not. I am not sure if he will be able to join because of the family emergency. I will ask him to give a feedback per email after the call.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much again, Kurt. And we will now move to the second presenter, which is PurePresso, presented by John. So John, whenever you're ready, you can share your screen.
Mathilde, first of all, thank you for the invitation and allowing us to present. And Kurt, the really smooth presentation, difficult to beat. I'm an Ironman triathlete, so whenever you have the possibility to send me a can of your stuff with electrolytes, feel free.
We have a number of Ironmen who love our beverages. They say it's more hydrating. I'd be happy to.
Anyway, but we also need, and everyone needs it. I'm hoping that everyone can see my first slide.
Yes.
Mathilde. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
I see some thumbs up. So here we go. My name is John Beukeljon. I'm the CEO and a major shareholder of PurePresso. When you drink coffee, you can have coffee in all sorts of ways and things, and it's nowadays most about convenience rather than going back to the ritual of having a nice cup of coffee. The thing is that coffee is actually never fresh, because the moment it's being roasted in factories, that's the moment when you go from a green bean to a roasted coffee, which is just aging immediately. And even when you package it, even when you put it in a pot or a capsule, whatever you want to call it, it's getting old. Because there's just a chemical reaction going on, and it keeps on going, whether you have oxygen with it or not. Doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot have nice coffee, but it's if you roast it or you get it roasted locally, and you bring it home and then you make a cup of coffee, you can have a nice cup of coffee. But it's really, really a select group of people who actually do it. So how to solve this? It's 2.3 billion people drinking coffee, and they've lost the connection with making a nice cup of coffee. So what we have now is the world's first shelf-stable, on-demand roastable coffee ecosystem. And hopefully it will work if I click somewhere here on the screen to go to the next one, because this is actually the problem, is this freshness that's being lost. We can come up with a lot of scientific explanations, but you know it. If you have beans or grinded coffee at home, if you have the package opened, you know you need to use it because it gets old in no time. And fun fact, when you buy the coffee, it's already sitting on the shelves for months usually. So you have old coffee, it's never really fresh. Next thing is that you have a huge carbon footprint for the coffee, because the roasting factories, it takes them 16 minutes to roast your coffee. before they even package it. With our solution, it will happen in somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds, depending on whatever you choose, like medium, dark, roast. In addition, if you look at the capsule market, which is really, really large, it's about a small 60 billion aluminium capsules that are just ending up in landfills. And it's not something that we make up. All scientific reports about it. It's not good. It's absolutely not good. And this convenience, it has a cost. And the planet can't simply afford it. So last thing that we lose is this ritual. If you press on a button and you want to have your nice cup of coffee, or you go somewhere, if you call someone, okay, can we have a discussion? Let's grab a coffee somewhere, but make it sustainable. Don't compromise. So what we have is basically a fundamental shift in this whole coffee business. We eliminate roasting in factories and we bring the roasting to you at home. And what's the fundamental difference is that you save a lot of CO2 because you're not roasting 16 minutes, but just a couple of seconds. So instead of having a CO2 footprint and stale coffee at home, you get green pearls. You roast it at home. It's your personalized choice what you will have. And the green coffee is shelf stable, and you will have the most fresh cup of coffee that you will have. So what does this innovation comprise? It's actually two things. We have the green coffee pearl, and the green coffee pearl is actually the hero of the two. No, it's a simple idea, and that's the fun part. No one thought about it. I spoke with the innovation team from Douwe Egberts. They spent millions on trying to get the coffee more fresh to the customer, but it's just impossible because you need to roast it, and then we are turning it around. We don't bring roasted coffee to the customer. We bring roastable green coffee pearls to the customer. What's a green pearl? It's basically a small coffee pearl. It's a little round ball which is possible to roast in no time. Now, what do you need? You need a machine to roast it, which is not in the market, and that's the thing that we've built. And a bit later, I will show you how it works. We have a prototype already working. We can also make the first pearls. It's possible. And based on this innovation, the whole market is changing. It's simple, but so completely new that it will basically create a new category in this market. And just to show you, these are the first pellets that we make. It's not just the round ball, because we have a machine that's making little pellets. And here you see the coffee just being roasted by hot air. It's extremely simple, but it's actually fun to watch. It's a bit magic. You get a ritual at home. You see the green coffee turning color, and it's your choice what you would like to have. Now, here we are roasting it all the way to really a dark cup of coffee, a really strong one. And this is not AI, this is real world, this is done in the laboratory of Well Design. Now, if you are a coffee nerd or enthusiastic, one of the things that you would like to see is that the coffee is tasting fine, believe me. You also would like to see a little bit of crema on top of the coffee. So we do have a functional roasting machine. This is the first prototype. It's way too big. So we need to go to prototype number 2, but it's absolutely wonderful. And the ones who helped me to build it, it's our partner, Well Design. Well Design is well known because they've done a lot of things before. One of the things that I've done before is they built a Senseo. Now, I don't know if anyone knows the Senseo here. People from Europe usually know it. I'm not sure about the US, but it's huge. Looking at we get more in detail a bit later, and we can also answer some questions on that one. And what is now the business model of this coffee? Because if you look at the coffee in the world market, you have green coffee that you can buy, or you can buy roasted coffee, but it cannot be patented. What we have is that we have actually 37 patents running, where both the pearl and the machine are patented. And what we do with this razor blade model is that instead of selling a printer and ink, we are selling the machines, pushing it in the market, and then people need to buy the pearls to be able to make the coffee with the machine. And our end goal is to do B2B licensing. So we have companies that will build the machines, and we have companies who actually make the pearls. And if we are ending up in that strategic goal, as a company, we don't have to do that much. The only thing you have to do is send an invoice by the end of the month for royalties, and that's it. So you can still stay mean and lean. The positive part is that if you use companies to do it, they usually already have their logistic systems and marketing systems completely set up. So you don't have to invest in that. It saves a lot of energy. It saves a lot of capital investments. So it's actually the perfect model. What's the market? Well, it's incredibly huge. If you look at the total market, it's about 200 billion. If you then go up to a more specialized market, which is dominated by convenience, it's the pots and the capsules. We all know the Nespresso machines, the Keurig machines. We all put an aluminium cup in the machine. You press the button. There's no fun, actually. You can choose in the shop between 60 different colors, but you end up with one or two at home, and it's expensive, and you end up with waste. And then you have this premium category where you have really the local roasters who are doing their best to really roast fresh. You can buy it, you pay a lot of money, really good coffee, but you need to grind them yourself with specialized equipment. You need to have a really expensive machine to make a nice espresso out of it. It works, but it's cumbersome. So there's a choice of what you would like to have. Do you want to have convenience? Do you have something extremely cheap? Or do you want to have a premium experience? Now, in our case, we are basically bridging this whole gap, because you will have a premium experience, you will have the convenience, and you will have a super freshness. It's simple. And because we eliminate the whole roasting in a factory setting, and we eliminate that expensive and capital expensive part in the process, it's cheaper to make. So the pearls are not expensive to make. It's just a fraction of the total cost. It was absolutely wonderful. I'm so enthusiastic. I could talk about it for days, but anyway, we only have 8 minutes now. So
yeah, do you want to go? Do you want to move to the feedback now, or do you have a lot of slides left?
We can. I don't have that many slides. I'm extremely excited. What we can do is, one of the things that I really would like to emphasize is that we are working with Well-Design, and Well-Design is existing for 40 years. They've done the Senseo, they've done coffee machines for Edna, they worked for Heineken, they worked for Unilever, so they know how to build something from scratch, to make an idea and bring it market ready. So that's more or less where we are at. We are asking 500K. You can read it later where we use it for. We have a complete plan. The thing is, the market is going to change, and the question is only who's going to be part of it. So I'm ready to take the million questions. I don't hear you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the pitch. Yes, let's start this time with Camille.
Thank you, John. Quick question. So I
Can you
understood at
just
the end.
stop the sharing so we will see everyone? Thank you.
Okay, I
I
thought you
understood
were
that
completely in control, so I stopped the sharing.
it's good.
Is
It's good now.
it stopped now?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good, perfect.
So it's not the bean. It's a processed pill. Am I right?
No, I
That
wouldn't
you
call it. No, I wouldn't call it processed.
yeah
What we do is that let's say we grind the green bean
yeah
and we compress it in a little round ball.
okay. And this process, how long does it take? And because you say you are removing the roasting process, and so you replace it by another process. What's the gain in terms of uh,
Okay, if I understand correctly, is that uh, the process of working with this green bean and making a pearl out of it is it's a little process which is way cheaper than roasting it in a factory.
yeah
And when you have this, so you save a lot of energy and therefore also a lot of CO2. When you roast at home and you roast somewhere between, let's say, 30 seconds and 60 seconds, depending on whether you choose light, medium, or dark, yeah, you save somewhere between 80 and 95% of CO2 due to the shorter roasting time. Does that
okay
answer your question, Camille?
yeah partly, but my question was more about the because you have a partner for that for this process. You did you secure your supply for these pills?
Well, we to gain access to green beans, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
They're freely
Yeah.
available. We can make now the little pellets in the form of a pellet. We can make it ourselves with quite a simple machine, actually. To make the pearls, we are looking at machinery that we need to buy.
Okay, in-house. Okay.
Yeah. And that will be the first step, because what we are going to do is that we're going to the Kickstarter. That's the idea. And with the Kickstarter, we would like to collect sufficient working capital to also set up the first factory, because we're going to start ourselves, unless someone knocks on the door like Nestle or Keur. But we start ourselves, and we
Okay.
will have an ambassador base via the Kickstarter.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's ask Dorit for her feedback.
I wanted to know, first of all, I love the project. I think it's amazing. I wish you would start with the beans, but maybe that will be the next generation. If I'm looking about the consistency and freshness of the coffee and the point of use, it's something that you tested to see that it's repeatable.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Thanks.
And to answer your questions about you hoped we could start with beans. Now there are a lot of companies that roast beans, but that will the fastest one in the market is taking about 8 minutes to roast beans, because that's the problem.
Yeah,
And that's where we make this change.
Gross.
I don't want to wait 8 minutes before I have a cup of coffee in the morning. But that's quite personal, but probably for a lot of people true.
Thank you, Dorit.
Thank you.
Constanza?
Yeah, thanks so much. Super interesting. I have to admit, I'm Italian, so I'm very traditional about how I make my coffee, which kind of leads me to the question of I feel like coffee is one of those things that's very behaviorally ingrained. And so I'm curious as to what's your thinking of how you get, it feels like behavior is going to be one of the hardest. You talk about that whole market, like how much of that are you expecting? Who is your target user and how are you expecting to shift that behavior?
The initial user, we're not going to change any behavior, because a lot of people just drink coffee. They press a button and they want to have coffee. What we do is that we add value to the user who is now used to the convenience of pressing a button. And rather than putting an aluminium cup with coffee in it that's not really fresh, you will have freshly roasted coffee. That's the kicker in this whole thing. You don't have to change behavior. It's cheaper to buy than, let's say, an espresso pot or cup or capsule, whatever you want to call it. The taste is good because it's super fresh. So you don't change behavior. If you are talking about Italian and the rhythm of Italians, where they go out in the morning and they put €1 on the counter, and within 30 seconds you have your nice little black espresso. That's a completely different audience. So you need to go to not to the home roasting situation. You need to go to the next level, where you go to the office level or Horeca level type. But we have a huge audience in mostly based on 1,000 people that we interviewed in US, the Netherlands and Germany, is mostly Nespresso addicts who actually want to change. I hope it answers your questions.
Thank you, Constanza. And now Michelle.
Constanza actually was in a similar line of thinking as I am. First of all, John, I'm a huge coffee lover, so I enjoy roasting like my own coffee a certain way and making it a particular way. But it's very helpful for you to actually outline you're targeting the crowd that's currently using Nespresso, which then brings me to my question. From investors' perspective, I'm curious about how you're thinking about your pricing strategy. Because with Nespresso, presumably, they are barely breaking even or even incurring a loss when it comes to the hardware. Really, the bulk of their revenue will be coming in from the capsule. Is that also what you're thinking? Walk me through about how your customer acquisition strategy is.
We would like to push the machine just above cost in the beginning, because before you can subsidize your machine, you need to be able to have a base of sales on the things. Looking at the cost to manufacture the machine that we've now in mind, that will be about €100, which is not that much more than a regular machine that is being sold now by either Philips or by Nestle. And we can sell it for a price. A retail price would be €400 because that's the standard formula. We will offer it for €300 within the Kickstarter campaign to give people a discount to go in. The coffee, on the other hand, will be on a premium retail level. So that will be about half the price of what Nespresso is selling their coffee at. I hope this answers your question.
Not very helpful. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and congrats, John, for the pitch. And we will now move to the third presenter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Which is Stacked, presented by Chris.
Hello. All right, let me get this pulled up. Okay, are y'all? Oh wait, let's do this.
Can you see the screen?
All right, we're in full screen mode.
Yeah, perfect. Yep.
2 seconds. Sorry. Okay, you're gonna have the bar at the top, so hopefully that is okay with y'all. But I'm ready to go now. So hi, so 2 great presentations right before me. My name is Chris Wilkins. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Stacked Fitness Hydration. So after 10 plus years of building some of the world's largest brands like Body Armor Sports Drink and Knob Creek, and empowering the fitness community as an indoor cycling instructor here in New York City. My business partner and I, we've identified a white space opportunity to transform the hydration and supplement and fitness landscapes, which is what we're going to talk about for the next 4.5 minutes or so. So as an avid fitness enthusiast, both myself and my partner, we realized that there is a glaring opportunity to establish a brand that not only hydrates consumers, but one that fully supports their end-to-end fitness journeys. So that's why we set out to create what we're calling Stacked Fitness Hydration. So Stacked is a health and wellness brand that combines electrolytes with proven performance supplements, so like creatine, which I'm sure some of you have maybe heard of, to ultimately help people get more out of their workouts, and then as a brand to help people live more fulfilled lifestyles. So now I'm going to go out on a limb, and actually I love participation. That's the indoor cycling instructor in me, is making sure that y'all are with me. So I'm going to ask you a question, and then you can just go down to your little reaction button and give me a thumbs up or some sort of celebratory emoji or something. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to argue that everyone on this call, or everyone who's listening to me, probably wants to feel healthy and strong. If that's true, give me, and if it's not, do like a little angry face or something like that. Oh, look at that. We all want to be healthy, and we all want to like be nice and strong, right? But I'm sure that if I could spend a day in your shoes, I would find that staying consistent and prioritizing your health and wellness is likely a challenge, especially as conflicting priorities in life start to really surface. So that's the human problem, and that's applicable across essentially anyone who has a pulse, right? On the other end, we have two disparate categories. We have the hydration category and the supplement category, and both these categories, they seldom intersect to bridge the needs of the breadth of consumers that are actually within the fitness space. And that is what we define as the category problem here at Stacked. So naturally, we could solve one, but we solve for both, right? So we went ahead and we solved for both. And so what we've done is we've created a brand that's designed to hydrate consumers during their workout occasions. And we supplement those same workouts with scientifically studied ingredients like creatine that's been shown to improve health, all while creating access for those who have never felt like performance supplements were approachable or easy enough to understand, right? As I go through this conversation, I'm going to rattle off words like creatine, BCAAs, L-carnitine, and I know statistically the majority of you have probably never heard of a lot of those things. I know statistically the majority of you have heard of electrolytes. And what we're trying to do, and what you'll see, is that we're making it to where it is we're making it easier for you to be able to understand those things and be able to have access to those things where historically that's been gatekept. So Stacked as a brand, though, is designed for the fitness community and by the fitness community. I'm still a very active cycling instructor here in New York City at Equinox to this day. And so we built this brand really centered around that community. Our visuals are meant to disrupt and show how gritty and raw fitness can be while maintaining a position of inclusivity and aspiration as well. So we've created two innovative functionalities to start, with more in the pipeline. The first is Build. This formulation is packed with electrolytes for hydration, creatine for strength, and BCAAs for recovery, as well as betaine to support muscle power. And then we have Tone. This formulation follows that same electrolyte, creatine, and BCAA based structure, but it includes L-carnitine for fat metabolism instead of that betaine that you see in Build. So in other words, we bring together everything that a consumer needs to maximize their fitness objectives through an easy to consume, approachable, and great tasting product experience. Now, as you all know, it takes more than a great product and great positioning to win today's consumer. And we're fortunate in the fact that we are building Stacked across three categories that are poised to give us significant tailwinds. Hydration is booming. I think I skipped this part, but I used to work at Coca-Cola, so I know a little bit about this space. And with the hydration powder market projected to reach 1.4 billion in the US by 2028, the category in that hydration powder space is really underdeveloped right now when compared to traditional sports drinks, which is making it the opportune time to seed Stacked with consumers. Supplements are also starting to scale. So as consumers begin to prioritize their health and wellness more so than in the past, performance supplements like creatine are making their way into the mainstream. And to my point about consumer health and wellness trends, there has been an awakening within culture as people begin to drink less alcohol, take more critical looks at the nutrients within their food and beverages, and then are also increasing that spend on those products that are going to show value and add to the longevity of their lives. In addition to Stacked having the momentum of 3 fast-growing categories, we've identified an ownable white space for the brand. So we take the best of 3 categories, sports drinks, hydration powders, and supplements, and we leave behind the baggage and we leave behind the disadvantages. So we forego the high sugars and artificial dyes of sports drinks. We push our functionalities beyond what traditional hydration powders are capable of. And we simplify and demystify historically gate-kept supplements like creatine. Now, here at Stacked, we're building a brand that is designed for modern commerce and scale. Our advantage is that Stacked is being developed as a digital-first, social-first brand that allows us to reduce our overhead and maximize our consumer exposure in the short term. For year 1, we are prioritizing drinkstack.com, so our direct-to-consumer channel, TikTok Shop, and Amazon to establish an aggressive revenue stream that will enable us to scale into retail going into 2027. Which is why we have a big ambition. Our roadmap is designed to get us to $100 million $100 million in revenue to exit in 5 years. Now, you might look at that and say that's a pretty aggressive timeline, but we know that we've identified a white space, product, brand, and framework that will get us to this ambition with the right strategic finance partners. We're currently raising against a post-money safe with a company valuation of $3 million in order to give us that foundational support that we need to drive rapid trial, to essentially create new product, to make sure that we have the inventory that we need to start to scale across Amazon, our direct-to-consumer channels, and TikTok Shop, and then to invest in the marketing that's needed to ultimately pull that product out. So in a nutshell, that is Stacked. So I look forward to chatting with you all. I know there's a lot more. My business partner is listening, and he's probably happy I kept it to under 5 minutes. But I'm very much looking forward to whatever questions you all might have around Stacked and how we're looking to tackle the market.
Thank you, Chris, for the pitch. Let's move to the Q&A, and let's start with Michelle this time.
Thank you. Really enjoyed the presentation. I myself am a marathon runner, so certainly understand the value of being well hydrated. I would say when it comes to the supplement world, there's so much that I would say everyday people, as you mentioned, might not be familiar about. So what's your strategy, particularly if we are talking about other brands in the market like Element, to differentiate yourself as a new entrant to the market, so to speak, and get that initial wedge into the market?
So there's 2 things to that question that you asked. One of the first ones that you asked is really about the familiarity of supplements with the average consumer. And what we found through our research is that whenever we say words like, or terms like BCAAs, betaine, L-carnitine, L-glutamine, people's eyes roll to the back of their heads and then they leave. And they've said, I don't know what this is. This feels intimidating. This is not for me. What we have found is that there is a very large opportunity for us to really lean into the ingredient in our product, which is creatine. Creatine is having a moment within the supplement world right now, not just because of its performance benefits, but because of its cognitive benefits as well. So when we talk about consumer acquisition, we lean into electrolytes, which it almost has, I mean, from our study, it's 90+% familiarity within our consumer segments. And then creatine is not too far behind, but going to be closer to about 60% or so. And so when we talk about the framing of our product, we speak right now in terms of electrolytes and creatine. To your question about differentiating ourselves against a brand like Element, for example, What we have at our core is the hydration plus the performance. And so what we're aggressively working through on our end right now is making sure that we frame up this hydration and performance narrative in a way that allows us to justify more of a pricing premium, right? Whenever we have something like this, the consumer is, it's very blurry, the consumer is familiar with these packets. They know that they're getting sodium, potassium, they potentially a little bit of magnesium depending on the brand, but they don't necessarily know why they need something like creatine. So our message, our objective is to simplify the message quite a bit. When you take element, that helps you stay hydrated, which helps you to fight fatigue, which helps you to keep going a little bit more within the gym. When you add creatine to your hydration mix, you get performance. And if I were to ask each one of you what your goals are in the gym, some of you are going to say, I'm trying to tone up. Some of you are going to say, I'm trying to lose a bit of fat. I'm trying to build muscle. I'm trying to just be healthier. And we designed this in a way across these individual supplements to enable people to actually be able to connect more with our product based on the goals that they're trying to accomplish. The challenge is simplifying that into a way that they understand that they get the hydration that they know and love from a brand like Element, but they also get this very approachable, non-intimidating performance aspect as well.
Very clear. Thank you for the explanation.
Yep. Thank you. And David, would you like to go next?
I will just add a remark that I think that the real challenge here, Chris, is the differentiation. I do understand the combination of the elements with the carnitine, with the keratin or other ingredients that you are looking into. What is the next stage? Where are you going to go ahead? Are you going to stay in hydration? Are you going to build, I don't know, any other series of products in this area?
When you say, and make sure I'm understanding your question, when you say differentiation, are you talking about long-term brand differentiation or differentiation on a product level, brand, larger?
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about Stacked and what we've built is that we can stack anything. And what we have right now is maybe what you're getting at. What we have right now is we've built a brand and a product. Let's call this our main product line. We've built a product that is right there squarely in that fitness space, riding or sort of pushing forward with the growing trends around hydration and electrolytes, pushing forward with what we're seeing with creatine. To your question, we have the ability to go into so many different spaces. When you think about the workout occasion, hydration's in the name. And so we'll most likely, no guarantees, but we'll most likely continue to keep hydration at that core. And electrolytes will really be that thing that allows us to seed into different occasions. We can very easily, if we have the capital, move into pre-workout, starting to look at natural caffeine sources. We can easily go into the protein space. And we all know protein is having a gigantic moment right now. And so when you think about these clear proteins, these powdered proteins that are not those heavy whey proteins that people are more so used to, that is also an opportunity as well. And when we think about the recovery aspect or what people go to the gym for, and they go to get more mental clarity, or if they need more, if they're like leaning into, they need another recovery solution, we can essentially simplify those things that people are looking for and put it into this stack. And so when we talk about differentiation, I think I was going to say vitamin water, but theirs is a little bit murky.
Vitamin water, there is liquid IV, there are so many Ultima, whatever, there are so many in the market. So this is what I'm saying.
There are, and you're absolutely right. One of the big things that we do from a brand perspective, and it wasn't something that we went through in the pitch today, but when we talk about competitive advantage and we talk about how we want to grow, it's very subtle, but when I talk about Stacked, I usually talk about Stacked as a brand and not a product. There are a few big hydration brands that exist today. There are a lot of hydration products that exist, significantly more. One of the big challenges that we have to do, and we didn't go through it, but we are, in building this brand, we are going to focus very heavily on building a community. This past week, Gabe, my business partner, and I, we were at Equinox sponsoring an event. We were in Jersey City Rumble, which is a boxing gym, sponsoring an event. The idea there, when we think about distribution, we think about growing the brand, is not so much we're going to throw this on shelf and we're going to hope it sells. It's how can we as a brand help you accomplish your goals on your fitness journey? right? And product is one piece that you're focused on. But when I think about this brand, I think about what are some of the largest barriers to people actually being able to hit their goals and be healthier? A lot of that is time. A lot of that is access. How can we as a brand make sure people are getting content to where they can do a 5-minute workout? How can we make it to where we're showing up in marginalized communities to where people have access now to fitness and they know where to start? There are a lot of ways to go from a brand perspective with scaling this beyond the product. But from a product perspective, we are differentiated in a sense that we can take it essentially wherever we are, but we are hyper focused on that fitness space that a lot of our competitors are not.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Dorit. Constanza?
Thanks so much. It's super interesting to learn more about this stuff because I'm probably one of those people that doesn't really understand it and hears these words all the time. One of the things that's really clear is you guys have a really strong understanding of how to market this, how to distribute it. What I'm curious about is more of the back end. Like, how are you, as you're scaling and as you're building the infrastructure to actually produce this, how are you making sure that, you know, you've talked about premium ingredients, you've talked about quality. What does that actually look like in terms of the actual producing of the product, and how do you maintain that as you scale?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think if you were to ask me that question in a year, the answer might be a little bit different, right? So we got actually really good advice because my background is very much big CPG, and I love a P&L, and I love seeing strong gross margins, and the advice that we got is to essentially build the brand, build the product that we know that the market needs. And so what will ultimately happen is that, you know, we've made the decision right now. Our standards are that of a Whole Foods in the US or a Sprouts Market, very premium, no artificial dyes, no artificial sweeteners. We're not cutting corners to try to maximize that gross margin right now. Some of y'all might be like, oh no, big mistake. But we are building literally the best product that we possibly can. As we start to scale, we will have to have those conversations pending funding of what some of the, you know, potential, like where we might end up pulling back. So for example, if I were to send you a box of our product, our box is extremely elevated. It has very high finishes on the side. It has a lot of embellishments on it as well. You could make I know what Coke would do day one if they were to acquire Stacked, right? And it would be start to lean into cost-cutting metrics there. But what we walk this very fine line, and we've had to learn this while being in our first few months in market, is that from a hydration consumer, we have to give them hydration. We can't give them partial hydration. We have to give them, like we were talking about Element a second ago, we have to be able to meet the needs of that hydration consumer. From a performance supplement user, we cannot skimp out on the ingredients. We need to give them full dosages of creatine. We need to give them full dosages of BCAAs to make sure that they're served. So when we do in the future have conversations around ingredients and around scaling and pulling back, a lot of that is going to have to come from operational efficiency and looking at our weighting of our channels right now. We have the idea, once we do start to seed ourselves into retail, the idea is that we grow this business direct to consumer and online and e-commerce first, where we can maximize a lot of that margin and maximize a lot of that profit. And then we'll have those conversations around which retailers make the most sense for us to go to be able to hold the integrity of our product without compromising what our consumers actually need. That was my answer, non-answer. Great.
Thank you.
It works.
Camille, would you like to give your feedback now?
Yeah, it's not really a question. Can you just give us a sense of what are your key takeaways of your launch in 2025? If you have the first results, what would be your opinion? Are you happy? What are your key takeaways here?
I think that we are right where we're supposed to be at this stage. So we had our hard launch in January. And what we do, so my background is in statistics as well. And so the amount of data mining that we've done to uncover those insights as to how to speak to the consumer. I mean, I think probably every founder on this call knows that when you first launch a product, you want to tell the consumer about everything. I want to tell you about the electrolytes. I want to tell you about the BCAAs, creatine, and all of that. And we've realized that simpler is better. And we need to find that thing that people can hold on to, which is why right now it is electrolytes and creatine. What we've also learned is that our marketing approach across Meta, our Amazon and TikTok shop is vastly different. I'm learning a lot about TikTok shop as we continue to grow because it's the wild, wild west, and it is poised to be the new Amazon in the future. So our scaling potential is immense, but we have to be traditional marketing. What I do at Coke, is not necessarily, it's not a blueprint for a lot of the digital channels that we're going into. And so we are adjusting our messaging, we're adjusting that approach. We have a pretty clear understanding of who that target consumer is. And now we're figuring out how to take the benefits that we know that they want from an electrolyte product and a performance product, how to put that message together, and then how to massage it for each of these channels, which is essentially where we are. So we're right where we need to be. But am I happy? We can always do better, and we can always aspire for more.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you, Chris, for the pitch.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you. There was a question from Eloi, but we're running out of time. So maybe Eloi, you can type it, or either in private or in the group. Is it okay?
I will send it to Chris. No issue.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we will now go to the fourth presentation of the evening, which is the brewery Sheep in Wolf's Clothing, presented by Matti.
Hello. All right, let's see if I can get this to work now.
Yeah.
Are you guys seeing full screen, or is it a weird little video?
It's loading so far. It's nothing so far.
Oh, that's good. Mm-hmm. Is that up now?
Yep, yep.
Hey, look at that.
Perfect. Okay, go. I'm starting the timer.
Amazing. Lovely to meet you all. Hopefully I'll be done in about 9 minutes. I think 8 might be a push. But this will go. Come on. Well, it's gone to the end as well. Isn't that good for everybody? Cool. So we're Sheep in Wolf's Clothing. I'm May Dixon, the founder. We launched as a brand in 2021 and as a physical brewery last year. We've won over 36 awards for our product. And since becoming a physical place, I was nominated for the top 3 finalists in 3 awards. So Diversity Champion of the Year, Best New Independent Brewery, and also Employer of the Year, which I went on to win. SIBA is the Society of Independent Brewers and Associates, and they've got over 750 members. So immediately put myself in the top 3 of those categories. The company itself has 2 big missions as a brewery. One is to create big beer experiences as session strength, and the other is to try and help folks who struggle to find work get opportunities to do so. This is a little bit about sort of where we are now. So we have our own physical space in Dunblane in central Scotland, which we opened. We opened in December 24 as a tap room, commissioned our brew house, and got brewing in June of 25. So you can see the brew house there. We've got the tap room in the bottom right, where we've got the local community engagement, and then bottom left is a few of my part-time team on our Halloween night, and top left is my wife enjoying a stein and a pretzel. But yeah, that's our physical space in central Scotland, where we have full production capacity under our own steam, from brewing through to packaging as well. So alongside the kind of aspects around obviously the product and the employment ethos, the big problem that we're trying to work to solve is create community. I like to say that back in the day, you either had community at the pub or the church. I didn't really want to start a religion, so I started a brewery instead. Like the data's there. I think everyone was aware of this. The lack of community is leading to illness, loneliness, and it is a real problem. With more and more communities going online, you're missing that physical presence of reaching out to someone in person. Alongside that, there is a massive market opportunity. So this is for sort of lower alcohol beer. This is more session strength. So we specialize primarily between alcohol-free and about 4.5% ABV, although most of our product range sit between alcohol-free and 3.4. And so this market is booming. It's in the UK. It's also happening worldwide, but our immediate focus is on the UK before then spreading abroad, although we do currently export to America. This is on the purely alcohol-free side in the UK. Again, this is booming worldwide as well. One of my award-winning beers, Lager des Saints, you can see on the edge, that won gold in the European Beer Challenge 2 years in a row, but it actually won gold in the full-strength Munich Hells category. Winning gold means you qualify for the World Cup of beer, and I got disqualified when I found out that my alcohol-free beer was winning gold in a full-strength category. So there you go. But never mind. But yeah, the market's there for the product, and the opportunity is there for the community. In terms of who's out there, we understand that the market's out there, it is competitive. But people are focused on different things. You've got a lot of big breweries who people are getting bored of now. They've gone what I would call very macro level. We are sticking to being a premium product, and we are starting to win slots with that. The macro level means you're all about cost efficiency, which means you dial down on the amount of ingredients you use effectively. The other piece on the social side and trying to engage with people, and from what I've seen, no one's gone as far as we've done in terms of engaging the community through both employment and events such as Social Sundays, where we support people locally. We also have the triple moat. So the products that they're proven, they're gold medal winning, they're award winning, and they're exported already at egregious prices to America because people want them. The people we have, I think the award and Employer of the Year proves that, alongside being nominated for the top 3 for Diversity of the Year. And then we need the place, and that is primarily what this raise is about. So this is effectively what we're talking about as a solution. It's a vertically integrated business. We've got the products. We're then going to try and open up a chain of centric pubs. But the idea is it will start with one core location, which again is the focus of this raise. With that, we're going to target our functional workforce demographic. That is the folks primarily between 25 and 55. They have disposable income and are looking for things to do. And this is accessible luxury product. And with that, we then have the increased staff retention model, which I'll come on to in a minute. One key thing people might ask about is how you're going to try and improve things for 7 days a week. Obviously, pubs traditionally more active at weekends. In my day job, as I don't do this full time, I run the brewery 1 day a week at the moment. I run data operations and hospitality and consult for a business there. So I've got access to data everywhere about how things are working, when busy periods are, low periods are. And with that, we've got initiatives already in place to try and bring in people during the week when we get our site open. So with that, we can drive 7-day-a-week footfall, we can engage in the community, keep sales up across the opening hours rather than just having the rush peak hours that most sites struggle with. So as the employees, I was mentioning, I'm quite passionate about trying to create opportunities for folk who are struggling to find work. This is based on autism, this chart here, but this applies across the board with numerous things that people struggle with and which makes employers turn them away. KPMG did a study on autistic employees and found that retention was up. So by putting the efforts into people and getting them on board, you effectively end up with lower turnover, saving costs in the long term, as well as building a more loyal, successful, and happy employee base. In the UK alone, you can see there's a pretty large number of people we can employ. And, it'd be nice to think I might end up that big, but that might be a bit extreme. The team at the moment, we're a living wage employer, and I've managed to make a company that is majority female, majority LGBT, and majority neurodiverse, whilst producing award-winning beers at a little brewery in central Scotland. So what is the raise? So the raise is trying to make 5 million and then deploy that across 3 sort of phases. Previously, I raised an SEIS amount in the UK. We broke 100%, I think 156,000, and the rest has been bootstrapped by myself. So the investment would be about sort of 500,000 into the current brew site. That would be about upgrading equipment and also employing people. I suspect that investment will come down rapidly as revenues start to increase as well. But we should break in pure beer sales about 110, 120,000 this year, and that is with me going 1 day a week. If we go to full-time operations, we should comfortably be able to go to 5 to 10x, and actually probably beyond that, to be honest. The second stage of this is to get our new home. We're in negotiations right now with the owners of a building in the town of Bridge of Allen, and what's quite exciting about this is this site, when we close out the negotiation, will allow us to have a sort of secure spot to build a larger production brewery, which would house a new kit along with our old kit. We'd have a bar restaurant on the first floor or the ground floor, depending where you are. On the first floor above that, we'd have an event workspace. Above that, we'd open a 30-room hotel. But the most exciting part of this, I think, is the ambition to open an incubator within this building. We're going to open up a technology and FMCG incubator with the hope that we can then create and launch brands from this as well under the moniker of Sheep and Wolves Clothing as the overriding brand. Sort of like an AB InBev or a Pepsi model, things that I've worked in before and my board helped with too. I've got one more minute, I said, didn't I? The next stage of this then be to open pub chains, open up those premium sites where we can get our product to people and create that community piece in person. The exit should comfortably be the S&P and FTSE over 5 years. Over 10 years, the model goes significantly further than this, but we're building up on conservative, stable projections built in real sites with the real business that's currently operating and selling. That's kind of the model where it goes. And what's nice about this is, the site that we're negotiating on has excellent demographics. So in this sort of community space, we go from low wealth to high net wealth. We're targeting our core customer base of sort of high earning young families. We've also got a university next door. There isn't a better place I've been able to locate in Britain to launch an incubator where you can actually test products in person there and then spin them out quickly, which is exactly what I help do in my day job. Who am I? I'm an ex-professional rugby player. I've done a few things and I've worked in a few places, but ultimately, any investment is done in the person. I'm a solo founder, and a lot of my drive comes from seeing my dad get paralyzed when I was 10. He became paraplegic, or quadriplegic, sorry. And, going back to work and seeing him sort of ultimately retire through that kind of being a demoralization process. And that's where the passion comes from. But it's led by data, and it's led by the fact that it also gets the community engaged and involved. So the payoffs of this business model are kind of winning across the board, doing good, whilst making great products, whilst making money. In terms of who else is on board, this is my board of advisors. It's people who help me out. They're also actually all investors. So I've already been invested in by the founder of Tortilla. I've got the managing director of Public, which is founded by the last guy who just stepped down, is in the Heineken family. So I also have a network there. I've got 2 strategy people, one from PepsiCo and one in global strategy for Inchcape. And then I've got someone helping me who is the VP of growth at Tenzo, and he's helping me currently deploy AI across the brewery as well as we improve our efficiencies. And with that, I'll be quiet. Thanks.
Thank you so much for the pitch, Matti. Let's move to the Q&A part now, and let's start with Constanza.
I'm really sad I'm not in Scotland because I would love to try some of your beer, honestly. It sounds really tasty and right on my street. And I'm glad you didn't start a religion, but I feel like you're charismatic enough where you could pull it off if that's the path you wanted to go.
Backup plan,
Yeah, it's good to know, have a plan B. Yeah, I guess more or less, I mean, I think it's really exciting the way that you thought about this and the way that you've weaved it into the community. One of the things that would maybe, when you're looking for financing, steward ownership funds are looking into opportunities that are exactly like this, and that might be a path for you to look at where you're getting mission aligned investors that are also operating at the timelines and the kind of returns that you're looking for, because I think that might be a really good fit. Yeah, so no questions, but I guess that's just, I feel like that feels like a path that really came up when you were chatting. So maybe I'll just hand it over to the next jury. But yeah, thank you so much. It was really interesting.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Constanza. Dorit?
So first, I'm curious about the taste. Does it taste like a real beer?
Yeah, they do. I think I brew all sorts of beer. I also say I don't always make the beer that I necessarily actually like to drink. I try and make beers for anyone, anytime, anywhere. And I don't know. I think an alcohol-free lager winning gold in the Munich Hells category, I think, is the proof case point that I can make lower ABV beer that people can actually enjoy, unlike perhaps some of the ones on the market.
Terrific. Is there any innovation in your fermentation process in the brewery that it's something unique in that you, I don't know, you can create an IP around it as an asset?
There was when we launched, we tested about 50 different strains of yeast and ended up brewing our first version of Lager de Saints with a strain derived from a Peruvian coconut. But the commercial yeast strains now are so easy to use and formulate. Honestly, there's no point. The yeast
Yeah.
companies have done it, and I think there's this vision and dream that you sort of like that's what you'd like to do. I know some people have done it. We started doing that, and I think, the first 4 years of what I've done with this business, honestly, is make all the mistakes. I
Yeah, of course.
did a lot of things wrong. I spent a lot of money badly, but we've bootstrapped, I've survived, and I'm here. And it's that kind of point now that we're focused, we're aligned, and we know where to go with it now.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorit. Michelle?
Yes. I'm curious about how you are thinking about exits because you clearly outlined that you're looking for an exits in the next 5 years at high or venture grade return. But then also there is that human and social component that I really admire in terms of your workforce. So how do you plan to navigate, I suppose, prospective buyers, but also ensuring that whoever steward this business in the future will actually carries the same value that you care about while also providing the economic return that your investors are looking for?
For sure. I think it's a valid question. Thanks. I think part of it is, I think the investor exit doesn't mean it's my exit, is one part of that. I plan on riding this to the hilt to a position where I think you can build a company to a point that when you sell it, the value is actually in how it runs. It isn't necessarily just in the product. Like, everyone's going to stand there and say their product's the best. There's other good beers out there. Of course there are. I like drinking them. There's other great products in every market that everyone has. What you're trying to differentiate is what do you do and what are you different for? And I think if you can build a strong enough brand around that, then any acquisition that comes your way at a point when I'd be happy to be acquired, which would be quite far down the road for me, you can build it into the contract. And I think there's ways of doing that. We have targets of having half of all our sites which we operate being, having half the workforce employed from undervalued folks. And I think you can build that into the sales contract as it moves through. And if you build it in robustly enough, removing it becomes a fatal error from the acquirer. And then the other piece of it, in terms of exiting people, is there's taking debt, there's raising again, there's selling off more of our equity if we convert the shares. So you have A type, B type. I think was it Zuckerberg has like 13% of Facebook now. You can convert round. So there's ways of me being able to exit people out comfortably. And again, our projections are built on real numbers, which I'm operating in right now. They're built on actual data from the day job where I analyze thousands of sites in hospitality around the world. And so I think they're actually quite conservative as well. So I'd like to think in 5 to 6 years, any investor is going to be delighted they came on this journey and may even want to just hang around a bit longer, but that's up to them.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Camille?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Two things on my side. The first one is a question. How do you for the end consumer, how is it aware, how the consumer is aware of the social engagement that you have? How can you capitalize on that? To enhance the customer engagement, increase your value of your product. How do you manage that?
For sure. A part of that is kind of this model. So the sort of main drivers at the moment, obviously, is going to be trying to get this new site raised and then built. But the other piece of that is I'm in negotiations with a local hotel called the Cromlix, which is famously owned by Andy Murray, tennis player's wife, Kim, to become their exclusive beer supplier and really hitting into that sort of premium market. But then part of that is then you get the advertisement from that. So a big bit of it is about storytelling. And if you can get the stories told by the right people and spread the word, it helps. The other piece is a lot of what we're trying to do is get in front of people and sell direct to the consumer through our website or through our sites. That's our route to market. We're not trying to go to the Amazon route. Again, mistakes I've made in the past, I've been there. It's agony and the margins are terrible. So we're going down the premium route. We want to be in front of people, telling them our story, sharing our story with them, having them engage with us. And I think with the number of inquiries I get for having events, for charitable events and fundraisers, I think we're doing okay at that. And I think the recognition on the awards, like the diversity one, been recognized as a top 3 diversity brewery in the UK out of what, 1,000 odd, I think is, it's coming our way, and it's been a hard journey getting there. I think it's a very good question, honestly. And it's one of those ones you can never stop working at. But our route is going to be face to face, stories told by others who like to share what we're doing is the route.
Okay. And just one more thing, more practical. When I received your deck this morning, there are a few slides where the message was not that clear because it was yellow on top of white. You had plenty of things in the slide, and I mean even in the last one when you speak about the round, the amount raised is really small compared to the rest of the text. And just if you want to have a clearer message, just emphasize the important information. Make sure that the message is clear for the investor, because when we see a lot of pitch decks, we like when the message is clear, and because often people don't spend a lot of time on it, and just an advice for you.
Amazing, thank you.
Don't take it. I know it's part of your brand, the design that you want to have, but just make sure that the message is clear.
No, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Camille, and thank you, Matti, for the pitch. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Great. We have one more pitch tonight, which is Enviro Farm, presented by William. And it is me who will actually share the screen if I manage. So 1 second.
Mathilde, if you would, just a moment.
Yes.
I
You want to
noticed
try?
there's no, I want you to try it because I've seen it fail from trying from this end. So,
okay.
But before we do, once it starts running, it'll just go through. And there's a need to shift gears for our audience today. We've been talking about beverage and products, and the presentation that you will see next is about the industry itself, the problems and the failures of that industry, and what's needed to correct them. What's needed is, in fact, a new production process. So we're not talking about a particular product or a particular piece of equipment. We're talking about building factories, new factories to produce food. And the first set of factories are cheese factories. So what you will see today, see us talking about, is the agri-food industry itself, and the fact that it's projected to not function well for anything over 10 to 20 years, because the green grass that you see behind my screen here is disappearing, soil is degrading, and farms are not producing the nutrient-rich food that we need. So we've changed the factory, and what the presentation will talk about is building food factories. Do you want to try it, Mathilde?
Mm-hmm. I'll try it. So, yeah.
And thank you for this, by the way. I greatly appreciate your efforts to correct what the internet does not seem to do for us. Welcome. I am William Tooley, founder.
Just to be clear, we can see your email, not the presentation, in case that's...
Yeah, it's the other screen that we're sharing.
Oh, no.
There you go. I made the same mistake 10 times trying to get it right.
No. What? How is it? Why is it? So how do I do it?
So when you bring up screen share, you have to tell it which screen you're sharing.
Yeah.
Click on.
I mean, I can open the PowerPoint.
Yep. And then click on the screen. founder and CEO of Enviro
Is it
Farm
working?
System.
It's working. Let it
Yes.
go.
As a serial entrepreneur with over 50 years experience, I have been involved in multiple business startups. Our current cheese dairy project is shovel ready with site selection, geotech analysis, building permits, layout designs, and environmental approvals in hand. Qualified contractors are identified and ready to bid. Enviro Farm's proprietary green technology, the Enviro Circulator, provides USDA-proven aerobic, nutrient waste, and water bioremediation for reuse and recycling. As with many green tech innovations, aerobic bioremediation does not fit well into existing agri-food production. To fix this, Enviro Farm chose to redesign existing agri-food production systems in ways that provide better green tech benefits and better business results, including increased profits, reduced risk, increased yields, and lower costs. Before we proceed, we need to answer one key question. Why are we here? Most of us are not aware that modern agri-food production is collapsing. Degraded topsoil offers less and less nutrient-dense food year after year. As a result, farm fields can no longer provide food as health. The low nutrient density in food we buy today contributes to epidemic obesity and diabetes. The methane from food production contributes to climate change, while ammonia emissions create significant public health problems, including childhood asthma, elder emphysema, and cancer, adding an estimated $270 billion per year in U.S. public health costs. Enviro Farm's aerobic production systems offer effective solutions to all of these problems, even while producing more nutrient-dense food at lower cost for consumers and with higher profits for producers. Here are the steps in how it works. In step 1, nutrient waste is automatically washed from the barn every hour, leaving floors spotless and odor-free while providing earth temperature cooling surfaces for cow comfort. At step 2, nutrient wastewater is sent to storage basins where it is transformed into safe, odor and pathogen-free 99% true liquid fertilizer. At step 3, whenever plants need food and water, fertilizer is pumped from storage. At step 4, liquid fertilizer is sprinkled directly onto growing crops in precise quantities required. Step 5 simply shows reclaimed safe water being recycled for barn cleaning. Specialty cheese production was chosen as our first project due to sustained 5 to 10% growth over the past 20 to 30 years. Specialty cheeses began trending higher as consumers looked for convenient, tasty food with better nutrient density. Just 2 years ago, the term car cheese, meaning cheese to be eaten as a snack in the car, came to the fore when mentioned on TikTok and Instagram. Consumer cheese demand suddenly surged again. In addition to the founder, the Enviro Farm startup team includes managers with extensive experience in each separate area of agri-food production and operations. Each team member has over 20 years of independent business experience, and team members have now worked with each other on this project for over 5 years. Team resumes are available on our website at enviro.farm. The current Enviro Farm cheese dairy cap stack, totaling 153 million, can be initiated by as little as 2.5 million in pre-seed round. This is followed by a 15 million Enviro bond available from the state of South Dakota and a 10 million community development bond running parallel with a full 25 million seed round. Bonds and seed rounds are followed by 100 million from private loans to reach the total 153 million projected cost. This is offset by an estimated 30% internal rate of return, producing a projected cumulative EBITDA of 160.5 million by the end of year 6. Deeper participation by interested investor lenders can be discussed. Let me sum up with answers to several obvious questions. There is an urgent need to address agri-food's role in climate change, consumer health, producer profitability, agri-food sustainability, and the regenerative soil crisis. Investors and industry are looking for real change. Enviro Farm provides that. The current project solves all the fundamental industry problems facing new production and taps into surging demand for nutrient-dense specialty cheese. Our first site has been named in South Dakota, and a seasoned project team with deep industry knowledge has been assembled. Multiple additional sites are planned as soon as this one is underway. Allow me to leave this final slide on the screen as we conclude. Please note the last item on this list may be new to you. At the request of previous interested parties, we retained a top qualified CPA firm in the agri-food dairy industry to conduct due diligence regarding our business plan. Their conclusion was a surprising 90% likelihood of success. Not something one hears every day from a CPA firm. Their 45-page report is available on request. Thank you for your interest and attention in our project. I can take your questions and comments now, please. Thank you, Mathilde. I really appreciate your being able to play that.
That went well in the end. All right.
Very well.
Camille, would you like to start?
Yeah. Thank you. So at the beginning, I was thinking that it was you will be implementing a solution into existing farms. So this is not the case, if I understood well. You are building the whole plant, the whole dairy. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we're building the dairy and the cheese facility and working directly with 10,000 acres of farmers around us to regenerate their soils with the material that we now have locally available at the site, which we have transformed into fertilizer for them.
And the 153 million cost of the project, what does it represent is it only capex, or for how many sites? What can you detail a little bit?
Usually these figures, thank you, Camille. I appreciate that. Usually these figures are expressed in cow numbers. So this is a modular factory system. If it's being built for dairy, it would be like this. If it were being built for meat, it would be like something else. But the dairy one, this particular dairy site houses 5,000 cows milking and another 5,000 cows growing up to become milkers. It produces 13 million pounds of cheese per year. And that's sold at slightly below specialty cheese market prices, so that through grocery stores that in fact are looking not so much for the cheese price, but rather for the investment impact, the environmental, climate, and human health impact reduction, because they're afraid and they're right on the edge of being sued by consumers for not providing nutritious food, for impacting the climate, the environment, and other things. Therefore,
Bill, let me jump in a minute. Camille, the 155 million of that, we have 100 million committed in debt, and the 155 million, 90, I don't have the exact number, 90 some percent are hard assets. It's land, building, marketable assets, which is why the risk is so perceived to be so low, and why the debt number of 100 million. That was one of the first things we took care of right away, was to make sure we had the back end covered. That's why it may look like a large project, but there's a very small amount of equity that we're really looking at.
Thank you, Mike. That's great. Thank you for jumping in.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Dorit?
Mathilde, I would like to hear from Michelle, because
Okay.
I noticed she has an agricultural background.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Michelle, then.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I was curious about the capital stack as well, but I believe the previous question answered that. Walk me through, what are the milestones that you're hoping to get from the pre-seed that would then justify the premium to raise the seed round? Because one thing that I would really like to understand is, you've evidently have secured yourself majority debt in terms of securing your assets, right? So
Yes.
why also have you decided to raise from equity?
The milestones would be the first 2.5 million per site, in order to organize and coordinate that site, get the contractors, and get it ready to go. We then have from the states, and in this case, the state of South Dakota, but in the US, many other states, they want to be sure that anything done agri-food production-wise is environmentally correct. And so they provide low-interest bonds. The second 15 million comes directly from the state as a low-interest bond for the environmental work that must be done before the project can begin. Then we have the essential asset value, which is being raised by licensed SEC fundraising at this point. We are registered with the SEC in the US, both for Reg A and Reg D fundraising. Therefore, stocks can be bought and sold easily. The reason for this approach is that we're not looking for a rapid exit. We are, in fact, looking for a long-term profitability. But some investors would like to get in and get out at the peak point of asset value increase, and they can do that simply by selling their shares.
Or the other thing, Michelle, is that in the documents that I sent you by email, the structure of the financing can also be in a debt, as a debt function, which can be repaid and replaced in about 5 years. It's about a 2-year start to have the revenue, but it's immediately profitable right away. And the debt structure to get someone out in about 5 years is easily attainable.
Thank you, Mike.
But the milestones, Michelle, the 2.5 million trips, 50 million from state, 15 and 10, 25 million from state. It trips to Reg A, the other 25 million, which gets us 100, or which gets us 50 million, and then we have the debt in line and in place already for the other 100 million, and that happens very quickly. So the $2.5 million trips the milestones for the rest of the funding.
So Mathilde, I don't want to take time away from the other panelists as well, but I want to clarify maybe when I talk about milestone, it's more so as investors, what we're looking for. If we give you 2.5 million in like the next 12 months, what are you going to do? Are you going to buy like 1,000 cows, hire 10 people, secure like 2 million in revenue? So those are kind of the pieces that I was curious about.
Perfect. And I didn't understand that, Michelle. Thank you. The details are readily available, and I would love to communicate with you outside of this forum to give those to you. But in fact, the quick rendition I gave you that we have a permit, a site, environmental engineering design, and geotechnology all finished. The project is ready to build. So the 2.5 million gets the management team in, starts the coordination of the contractors, and starts the building of the first site. The business is not just about one site. Farmers have looked at what we're doing, and the farmers we're working with are really eager to get going. Farmers in other places want to do this too. So there will be, once this site starts to be built and people can come and look at it, there will be 10 more sites that we have to do, and then there will be 100 more. We're intending to change the entire dairy cheese production industry because it's failing so fast that it may not be around for more than 10 years.
Michelle, if you see the email that I sent you and you have questions with that, I can respond immediately. I will respond right away if you get back to me. So it should be in your inbox already. So there are documents there. And again, I can respond with many other documents that I have immediately available in the library.
Michelle, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll follow up separately offline.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Yeah, Constanza, do you have something to add?
Yeah, sorry, I realize we're at time. So yeah, I think one of the questions is going to be in terms of there's quite a lot of layers to this, and I guess maybe my piece of feedback would be is that it'd be really great to sort of clarify what's the product, and you have some of that in the slides, but sort of really, like Camille said at the beginning, like, are you starting your plant? Are you creating a product that farmers can use themselves? And therefore, what does that look like within that? That would be my main piece of feedback, is that I feel like there's a very clear case to be made in terms of the problem. But I guess there's some clarity, I think, that would be really great to really just shine through in terms of how the pieces come together. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. We think a lot about agri, and so it's really interesting to see how you're thinking about fertilizers and the role that dairy plays within it.
Love to talk with you further, and thank you for the comment. If there's a chance to speak together and you have some interest that goes beyond helping us, we greatly appreciate talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, David.
Well, I guess that everyone already asked the right questions here, but I think that what is missing for me in this story is everything concerning who is the consumer here, who is with whom we are working, with the farmers, with the dairy industry. It was a little bit confusing for me to understand.
I understood that. And about the time we started presenting, I said the same thing to myself. We are selling directly to grocery stores, who then present this to consumers who are looking for cheese as a nutrient-dense protein source for snack food and something that's better than they have available now. So the market is just trending off the charts. We will be doing business to business with grocery stores who get the benefit of the environmental impact that we provide for them, taking them off the hook for the damage that they're currently doing to the planet, the people, and the producers. The profitability is much higher, so the producer can, in fact, charge a higher price for his crop.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dorit, and thank you, William and Michael, for the pitch.
Very good.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you. And yes, this was the final pitch for this evening. So I want to thank everybody for joining, and I hope you enjoyed the event. I think it was
Michelle,
really
you did
interesting.
another nice job. You did another nice job. Very
Great
Thank you
job.
so much. Thank you so much. I hope to see you all at some future events. Don't hesitate to reach out if you want to be pitch again or be part of the panel again. It would be my pleasure. And I will follow up with a contact list with all of you tomorrow and a recording. So we will have the recording available on YouTube, like we have all our events available there. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure, and let's stay in touch, and hope to see you soon. All right.
Michelle, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for hosting.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye now.